Morning. Wake up to Rodney. Let's have some king prawns for breakfast. Right. Wake up to Rodney. I haven't done an episode for a few days. Been really busy. Family stuff. Right, so let me explain something to you. Just driving. Right. The magic, and I heard this on someone else's podcast, the magic of what you are looking for is in the thing you don't want to do. And that is so true. It's so true. It's unbelievable. Yeah. The magic of what you are looking for is in the hard work you don't want to do. And I'm going to give you a huge example of that. I'm going to give an example from myself and an example from people I've worked with. Now, I talk a lot, and I've written a book about it, so my book's out now, so you can get it. I've written a book about it, and it's basically people believe in determinism. And because they believe in determinism, and it's understandable why you would believe in determinism, because everything teaches you that works. Everything makes you believe that works. Yeah. Whereas, in truth, it doesn't. It only works to a certain extent. Which is the same reason why making it successful in anything, as in the highest levels, in anything is always that. And I'm going to give you an example. So, I used to coach this girl tennis. Well, I didn't coach her, I just advised her. I used to advise this girl tennis, and I did used to coach her. Now, this girl, at the age of 13, 14, was just as good as Mira Andreeva, who I did also see at that young age, at 12, 13. So just as good as Mira Andreeva, just as good, if not potentially better in terms of, well, no, she wasn't better, but definitely as good. Now, this girl never made it. Mira Andreeva did. Why? And I'm going to explain to you why. It's not about, later on it's about tennis ability, but it's all about what you do in the time to do it. Now, I remember advising this parent. They had like a big £90,000 car, blah, blah, blah. I says, get rid of all that, save all that money, just get yourself a Mercedes Vito van, yeah, get in that van and get driving around Europe and play tournament after tournament after tournament. That is the absolute cheapest way you can do it. For them, that was their dark place, because it meant not having all the luxuries that they enjoy. It meant not being involved with all the things that they're involved with in a normal day-to-day life, which ultimately resulted in they didn't make the sacrifice needed in order to make it. So they didn't make it, or they haven't made it at that level. I mean, don't get me wrong, they live an amazing life, and I respect that. I respect anybody who lives an amazing life, lives a great life. I respect those people. I respect it. And that's why I always say, these things aren't for everybody. Tennis isn't for everybody. Football isn't for everybody. Rugby isn't for everybody. Boxing isn't for everybody. You can take part. You can enjoy being part of whatever it is. Yeah. And I say in my book, the price of taking part is not the price of winning. And players like Mira Andreeva have paid the price. They've made the sacrifice. They've gone without going to birthday parties. They've gone without designer clothes. They've gone without £90,000 cars. They've gone without all of those things. Delayed gratification, so that later on, now Mira Andreeva's, she got a £3 million deal, so she can buy a £90,000 car tomorrow because it's delayed. It's a delayed gratification. You sacrifice now to gain tomorrow. Yeah. And that's the point. There was another girl in very, very similar circumstances, just as good as the girl I just talked about. But the sacrifice, when it came down to the sacrifice, they weren't prepared to do it. They weren't prepared to go to the dark place. And that dark place was away from the security of, or the supposed security of the national and governing body. If they'd have stepped away when I advised them to step away from the national governing body, yeah, then they could have really developed, because that particular girl, she had everything. Maybe a little bit more strength, maybe a little bit more movement and strength, lower back strength. But that girl she'd be a multi-millionaire-ess now, multi-millionaire-ess. Wouldn't make the sacrifice at the right time. Just whinged and moaned, but never made the sacrifice. And you could also say, but listen, does my daughter want it enough? Now I can jump in there and say, did my daughter want it enough? And the difference is, I took my daughter to that dark place. We went to deep water. I took her to deep water to see if she could swim. And, you know, that's when she made the decision that it wasn't for her. But at least she went. Now, we could argue, we all got to the same place, because none of our daughters are now pro, whereas all of our daughters had the potential to be pro. The biggest one for me, or should I say, the richest one. So the richest one, see, and my daughter will back me up on this. I took a job at Waitrose on a Saturday to so that my daughter could go to Barcelona Tennis Academy. So what was it? I worked there from like October till January, every Saturday and some Sundays, whatever. What was it? £14 an hour, 10 hours a shift, and that paid for my daughter to go to, or help pay for my daughter to go to Barcelona Tennis Academy for a week. So, and it was free. So all we had to pay for was flights and that. So the rest of the time it was, you know, that money also paid for the Dutch Bowl, which she went to in January or the February. No, I can't remember. So she did January Dutch Bowl, and she did Barcelona Tennis Academy, all off me working at Waitrose. Now, these parents at Edgbaston Priory decided to take the mick out of me. Oh, I thought he was some big time sports scientist, strength and conditioning coach. Why is he working in Waitrose? None of them thought to themselves, he's doing whatever he needs to do for the betterment of his daughter. None of them thought that. Well, sorry, one of them thought that. But the rest of them all thought, oh, I thought he was some big time strength and conditioning coach. Why is he working in Waitrose? And this is the mentality. Now, we could argue, well, we couldn't argue, because the fact is the fact. That parent, that particular parent who said that, who was phenomenally rich, she made her money on her back and used all her husband's money. So her money was made from on her back and from behind. So let's get that. So at least I'm willing to put put my hands to work and work at Waitrose, yeah, you just had to do what you did. Now, let's just have some perspective, yeah. Let's put some respect on my name, because I put the work in. Now, she put the work in, but wouldn't go to that dark place. And as a result, yep, her daughter's inheriting her dad's multi-millions. Neither of our daughters are tennis pros, whereas both of our daughters had attributes that could have led to them being pros. Anyway, that's that over, because I'm stuck behind the lorry and I need to. Right. So, in terms of finding that dark place, and I see it all the time with people wanting to lose weight. I've been in the gym this morning. Excuse me. 4:30 this morning, I'm in the gym. What is your dark place? What is the place where you don't think you can go? That's where you're going to find the answers you seek. That is where you're going to find success. That is where you're going to find your true root. And it's the same now with me. Yeah, my true root, well, I won't expose my root, but I know what I need to do. All my life I haven't known what I need to do. I've always been willing to work hard. I've always been willing to sacrifice, but I've never known how to. Now I know how to. I can tell others to do it, but now I need to self-reflect. And since I have been self-reflecting, and since I have been going to my dark place, yeah, going to that dark place and meeting the demons head on, that's the only way you can achieve. You've got to face the demon. It's like King Willie says in Predator 2, there's no telling till the demon come calling. Yeah, you've got to face the demon. Listen, wake up to Rodney. My podcast is out now on Buzzsprout, right? The People's Podcast, look it up. And I got loads of stories. One of which, I'm going to tell you this story. I haven't spoken to my cousin in 22 years. Me and my cousin were tight like that. And we haven't spoken in 22 years. And I'm going to tell you why. Listen, like and subscribe, guys. And look up the People's Podcast. Wake up to Rodney. Hashtag all those things. And we'll soon be on Apple Podcasts as well. All right, speak to you later. Bye.